Hey there, and welcome to this second part of my Blender tutorial on how to make an M40A3 sniper rifle. I haven't done it in a while, so I'm gonna have to probably go fast because I didn't remember exactly everything I did. But we made a cylinder here, flipped it with R, rotate 90, scale along the, that's probably the y-axis most likely. E extrude. Now we're using B box select, grab, then you press. Well, you're basically just extruding it. You can see it perfectly fine. You don't have to scale along the z-axis anymore because you're making perfect cylinders. R rotate. I pretty much went over all this stuff before. E extrude. Using all the tools. S for scaling, G for grabbing, R for rotating. I'm just shaping up the scope right now. B box select to grab whole points at once. I'm just fiddling around with it right now. Making a little bit different instead of just making it cylinder. I rotated that one in the middle, as you can see. I'm really not sure what axis that is. That's got to be the y-axis, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, if you want to rotate along or grab or scale along an axis, you just press that key before you do it. So if you wanted to scale along the s-axis, you would just, or along the x-axis, you would just press X while you're doing something. I didn't like how that turned out, so we're going to redo it. As I said before, I made this video like a month ago, and now I'm doing the second part now because I'm so freaking retarded and lazy. Scaling, matching up the shape. The scope is really not that hard to make. You're just extruding cylinders. I took out one chunk in here where I was making the glass part. Because when you're making the glass part, I was trying to use it curved, but I'm not very good with making curve editors, so I just use this sphere instead. Let's see what we're doing here. Yeah, and then I make another circle. Okay, it looks like I'm making a circle and then extruding it, but I decided not to. Oh no, I just rotated it. So you make a circle and then you extrude it inward. So you press size scale. Extruded it along the side axis. So now we have two holds basically for the scope. To avoid mixing up the mesh, I didn't do it directly over the scope. I just did it in a separate part. I'm pretty sure I put it on the little piston that holds the scope. So put those little scope holders on a different part of your model so it doesn't get too messy. I just duplicated it with D, Shift D, I believe. No, just D. Copying. I think I usually like to just copy multiple versions. So if I screw up really bad, I can just go over and work with a different one. Here we're going to move on to texturing. I believe I was going to do some UV mapping, but I didn't really like how the way it turned out, so I just used regular colors since it wasn't like a vastly important model. It was just for demonstration, again, for learning purposes. Modifiers. We went to modifiers and played around with smoothing and stuff like that. And as you can see, the hilt, and I'm playing with there's basically a couple of things you can do to smooth. You can add multipliers, which I don't really like to do because sometimes it causes problems. You can add modifiers, make it smooth, and there's set smooth, as you can see to the left. It's in the editing button. And they all smooth out things, but they all don't do this the exact same thing. Set smooth makes the whole thing pretty much just smooth, like you would ideally think, and like set smooth, or not set smooth, sorry, the modifiers make it like lose some mass somehow. Or that might be the modifiers, I can't remember them. Anyway, go to the texture editing tab, which is the little sphere, and then choose the color you want. If you've ever seen M40A3, I'm just judging by the picture. It's kind of a weird pale greenish yellow, one of the oddest colors ever. But I'm playing with all the different settings and shaders and changing out the specs and stuff like that, making it a little bit more cartoony. Saturation can be changed and value can be changed. If you want to do UV mapping, or if I can go over basic UV mapping in another tutorial if you guys like, but I don't even use it in this one, or I do, but then I just don't feel like it afterward. doing a dark texture for the barrel and such, as you can see in the picture below. You can use different textures for when you render to get like different varying degrees of bumpiness. You would go and you would I'll show that in another tutorial, but you can get like pictures and such, and you can there's like pictures in Blender that you use as a bump map, and it shows varying degrees of bumpiness, but it's not actually bumpy, it's just a picture, but it looks really convincing. You can play with different degrees. You can select ray mirror and ray transparency in the editing menu, and it will make something look glossy or reflective. So I made the scope because it looks like it would be made of like a kind of shiny metal, so I added the ray reflection a little bit, ray mirror up a little bit. Here's where I was going to do some UV mapping on the piston, but it's all screwed up to hell, so I didn't really bother. I think I looked for it. I don't know if you can see very well in the video. I don't remember if I keep it or not. I'm using it on my dark metal texture. It doesn't really look that different on that because I didn't set up seams properly, so we're just ignore that pretty much. Don't worry about these steps I just did. You're basically just coloring it using the color editor and such. I'll move that up a little bit more to fit with the model a little bit better. G, grab along the z-axis, pretty straightforward. Changing views. And now I'm going to start working on the scope itself. So there was that part where we used, we had that circle, well, when we were making it originally, we did E-extrude and we extruded inward, right? So then we're just going to select all the interfaces. And we're just going to grab it back. You can do that either way. You could press G and grab it and pull it back, or E, extrude inward. And I cut all this time I was wasting at the curve, so you may think, why is it skipped ahead? It's just because all you have to do is make a sphere. Flatten it slightly along. You have to go to different views to match it up properly. And scaling along an axis to make it a little bit flatter. So I don't know why it makes a difference. I was just doing it to make it look nicer. Making it fit properly. When you go to this different shaders and you're gonna go edit it now, you're just gonna we're lining up properly first, but after you do that and you have it just the way you want it, I would smooth it. I didn't smooth it in this one, so it looks kind of crappy, but if you go to set smooth or add modifier, make it smoother. And then we're not there yet. I'll wait till we get there, but we're gonna start adding textures to it. Well, basic textures. And I made it blue. For whatever reason, I don't know, it's just a reflective thing, but I made it blue. And you can put it on the ray transparency, and the ray reflection has to go up. You won't be able to see there, but in that menu, if you scroll down, you can set the fade to the object instead of set to sky. It's just underneath the ray transparency, and as you can see, it makes it reflective. I just wish I had smoothed it out doing that. And then you can see I'm just changing things to making it work accordingly. But that's pretty much a basic M40A3 sniper rifle. The only thing you would do that would be able to look at more tutorials on how to texture properly and UV mapping if you really wanted to make some really nice stuff. I didn't work on the bolt in this one because I really didn't set up the sniper rifle properly to work with the bolt. But I could do another one later on animation on how to set up the bolt properly. But I might want to do one from scratch. Let me guys know. It depends how popular this is. If this doesn't get a lot of views or a lot of likes or if I don't get any new subscribers from this, then I don't see the point in making any more of these videos. But if you guys liked it and you actually learned something, and I get a couple people interested, not one, not like one or two, like I'm saying like at least 10 people, then I'll make more. But otherwise I can't really be bothered. But if you found this helpful, just let me know. So I'll see you guys next time. Have fun modeling. I haven't modeled anything in quite a while, but good luck with you guys.